Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Watkins Glen for the, whatchamacallit, 62 at the Glen here tonight. It's the I2I Motorsports Truck Series here live once again with just 5 rounds to go in our 9-race season. This is round 5 indeed as well, all the 5s here today. Myself, Ian O'Leary, and Aidan Howe going to be taking you through commentary this afternoon for just 25 laps at this road course where we shouldn't see any cautions, but we'll wait and see on what will be surely a defining day in this championship. Good to be back alongside you for this one, Aidan. It's the only road course on the season, and Braden Craycraft and indeed all the others who are hoping to win the championship, Craycraft leading by 15 points at the moment, they'll need a good race today because this is very much an outlier, and there's going to be somebody who takes a victory and takes a big step forward and takes advantage of this slightly odd racetrack. So it's going to be an important day in the context of this 9-race season.
Absolutely, and good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, especially to us, Ewan, but for everyone else stateside, good afternoon and good evening. Pleasure to bring you this race, and yes, it is the shorter circuit, or shorter variation of Watkins Glen, only 7 turns, inclusive of that infamous bus stop at the top of the hill. Pretty much a big test for these guys as they're going into this race, and with qualifying well underway for our 16 drivers, if my last count was correct, we are getting the grid formed and set ready for this evening's 25-lap race.
Yep, we've got the first laps coming through at the moment, but still one more to come. Ryan Simmons actually first over the line, but he's clearly made a mistake at turn 1 because he's already back to pit lane. Brian Lashbrook and Chris Hone are then left as the first ones to actually get out there on the circuit. Johnny Suggs going pretty quickly, first time round for him. A personal best in the first sector, a purple in the middle, and another personal best will get him to second, fairly comfortably there, but still about a second behind Lashbrook. Going to be very interesting to see who can get anywhere near Lashbrook, who's coming towards the final sector of his final lap in this session.
Absolutely, indeed. It is on our lap. We'll get back to him in a second. We're just going to try and catch some cars going to line car 3. Braden Craycraft will be coming to the line very shortly to set his first lap time to get onto the board. It's 1:14.1. Good 1.1 seconds off what Lashbrook has currently been able to do. We'll see if they can improve, but it is surprisingly big, the gap between the top and first, second positions, but it's relatively tight between the rest of the field.
Yeah, it is quite a noticeable difference there. The next second, it's 1 second from first to second. The next second covers the next 6. No, and that's only 6/10 of a second covering the next 6. So that is interesting to note. Up the field goes Tyler Miller. He gets a bit closer to Lashbrook, at least within a second. Here comes Johnny Suggs as well, over the line for the final time. Is he going to go any quicker here? I'm not sure it's going to be anywhere near pole, and it isn't. It may be close to second though, and it is 400ths away from second. So Suggs in behind Miller, and he's going to stay there because Miller's still got a lap to go as well. Braden Craycraft, the current championship leader, is going to be coming towards the line in second as well. Nathan Merrifield moves up into second place, 2/3 of a second behind. Can Craycraft get to the line in time? Didn't he do this last week? Up towards the line. He is going to get there just in time this time round, and he's moved up. Yes, to second. That's a much better lap time. Right at the very end, he moves to just 3/10 behind the eventual pole sitter.
Indeed, that is qualifying done and dusted. Very quick qualifying, only 5 minutes. Lone qualifying or 3 laps. So those guys getting all those laps sorted and getting onto the grid, all done and dusted. Now just going to form up on the grid. Now we just await for all the cars to do so, get on the grid, and hopefully test a couple more of our new graphics for you guys. Would be quite nice to see. And we just await everyone to get on the grid, and I believe it's going to be a rolling start from the pits. And oh no, just from short circuit, of course. Goes around that side. So what we will do is very quickly just give you the rundown of the grid for this evening's race.
Yes, it is going to have to be quick now because they're already nearly ready to go. Brian Lashbrook has taken the pole position here at Watkins Glen in front of Braden Craycraft, who is our current championship leader, looking for a solid night tonight rather than to win, really. Nathan Merrifield and Tyler Miller then are sharing row 2, with row 3 covered by Johnny Suggs, who will look to move forward from there, you'd imagine, and Ryan Simmons, who's just alongside him. Row 4 is then Caleb Ross and Chris Hone, who's had a solid season so far as Hone. He's returning after missing last week. Next row behind them, Christopher Herr and William Honeycutt, which round out the top 10. Next up, row 6, Corey Kulfers, who's back as well after missing last week, I believe, and Daniel Wing is back again in the 9 truck as well. Wing currently 6th place in the standings. Jacob Miller and Michael Dadamo then on row 7. In front of Trey Greiber and Trevor Thomas. I can tell you that Chris Hone hasn't actually got onto the grid here initially, so I do wonder what's happened to him, but at the very best he'll be starting from the pit lane.
Indeed, and as we get onto the rear tail of the safety car, as they lead around the final couple of times, we will just jump away from that. But it's a very interesting grid as well for this race. So they're just coming around the final turn very shortly. The safety car will pull away, and we will start racing for the only street circuit, or only normal street race circuit we have in this championship. And lights out, and they are away as racecraft leads the way alongside Lashbrook. In the background, Caleb Ross dropping positions, along with Corpus Jr. also finding themselves a few positions down. They all go wide at turn 1 and try to find the rest they can. But for what I can see, it's been a very smooth and somewhat maybe chaotic but orderly start.
Everybody gets through cleanly for the first time as this 5th round of the I2I Motorsports Truck Series gets underway. Just 25 laps from Watkins Glen here tonight. Very slow on the back, and there has been somebody off actually at the back. Corey Kulfers, Honeycutt and Daniel Wing also all involved, and they have very much dropped down the back end of the field. So that is what's happened over the top of the hill. It's never turn 1 around this venue. It's always up the hill through 2, 3 and 4, either on the opening lap or in the rest of the race. It's just as difficult, but turn 1 never a problem. There goes Racecraft looking down the inside of Brian Lashbrook, who was on the pole and has controlled this race through the opening lap until the very end. That's a big off in the background there from Caleb Ross in the 27 truck. Out front though, meantime, it's still side by side for the lead, and that looks like a decent run for Racecraft onto the front straight. In fact, he's invited Johnny Suggs into this as well. He's up 2 places already into 3rd, and he's looking for 2nd down the inside in towards turn 1. Can he maybe take this place from the championship leader? Because you are allowed to run wide in the truck series out there through turn 1 using that tarmac, and Suggs does indeed get it to 2nd. Can he seal it now in front of Racecraft? Not yet. Still not sealed, and now it is over the top of the hill. See how narrow it is through there, and you can see the truck squirreling away from him there. Suggs goes wide, and here comes Racecraft getting that position back again, and Tyler Miller's going to try and get through as well, although he can't quite do it, coming in towards the inner loop.
Absolutely fantastic race from all of them. It's unnatural to see all that time like used on exit turn 1, but you're very correct, and these trucks are allowed to go out wide and use up all they can as long as they don't put it into the barrier, and they're absolutely fine. However, they give each other space, and respectful race from always a wiggle from that car 15, and Johnny Suggs trying to find the grip as he puts his foot down on the right pedal.
It's going to be not a long race, but a race of absolutely battling, that's for sure, with these cars just trying to get away from them at every single opportunity. It's only, as I say, only going to be about half an hour or so of driving for these guys, but it's going to be all arms and elbows. It's going to be maximum concentration required, because these cars can skip away from you very, very easily. As I mentioned, don't be alarmed by them running wide through turn 1 there in a way that in a normal road course race you would be alarmed by in terms of track limits. It's not a thing, not a feature of these Truck Series races. And indeed, it's only really a discussion point here. Anyway, the 95 meantime spins to the inside of turn 1. Trevor Thomas will get away with that, but that's to the list of a number of big incidents and big moments that are happening towards turn 1 at this venue with the high speeds and the big braking tone in these cars.
We're going to try and see what's happened at the race start. Honeycutt, Wing and Corfers Jr. coming to blows at the top of the hill. The 9 car gets the lead, so there's a car ahead of him, the 22 actually. It's the cause of him to go slow down. There's a bit of a accordion effect maybe to the car behind, and also trying to slow down and spinning. So that's the answer for what happened at the start of the race. But apart from that, I think we're all right.
Honeycutt and Culfers it was. They seemed to spin on their own by the looks of that. I would have assumed it was a multi-car incident, as in contact, but synchronised spinning seems to be the more accurate description, actually, as they were getting up to speed. Oh, and there's another spin for Trevor Thomas coming through the penultimate corner. I was just about to mention, you'd think it'd be cold tyres or whatever at the start of the race. It isn't. It's just difficulty in getting these cars out of acceleration zones, which is going to persist even at the end of the race when these tyres are warm. In fact, you don't want to get them too warm. We're in the low 90s Fahrenheit-wise as far as the temperature goes on circuit. I think that's high 30s, is it? Mid-30s Celsius. So it's pretty warm out there on the circuit, and that might play a factor as well. But, you know, warm or cold, doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect the way these cars are driven around here. It's still difficult to just squeeze on the power.
No, absolutely. Our wonderful American friends and their freedom units. You have a joke with them prior to going on. We do have a laugh lesson. Wonderful group of crowds of drivers here racing, and no doubt having even a spinning. I'm sort of having a lot of fun doing so. But really clean, respectful racing from them all so far, and things are just starting to slow down a little bit. People finding their pace, a little isolated battles here and there, but for now, 21 laps to go, it looks to be Craycraft leading away by a good amount as well, and looking to control this race.
Yes, actually that's a change for the lead, actually, isn't it?
It is.
Because Lashbrook qualified on the pole, and Craycraft is now in front of him, and wasn't initially off the start. In fact, Craycraft was in danger of going down to third at one stage. But that is looking like a distant memory at this stage. He's 3.5 seconds in front of third, and he's even nearly a second out front in this field as well. I think it would be a real blow to the rest of the field, actually, if he were to win tonight. He's already won twice this season, which is, you know, fair enough, but this is a complete outlier as far as the circuits we've had so far and the ones that we're going to have as well. And so people will be thinking, well, if we can't even beat him at the road course, then what hope do we have here? Going to be very difficult to catch him from this point, because although I said only 15 points of a championship advantage, given it's 1 point per position, unless you're fighting for first versus second, it's quite going to take quite some catching those 15 points. Absolutely.
Let's just go to a replay. Just actually watching that overtake for the race lead, with car number 3, Craycraft, getting on the inside. The red car of Lashbrook going very wide, actually taking that tarmac on the exit. We say we were allowed to, but on that occasion, for whatever reason, he ran wide and gave up the lead.
And moves to second significantly, as in the gap is growing as well. It's not just changed hands, it's also the gap going the wrong way, as Craycraft very much finding his rhythm in these first 5 laps in front of Lashbrook. A little bit further down, battles elsewhere going on. Honeycutt getting past Jacob Miller. Honeycutt was the driver of the 22 truck that went for a spin on lap number 1. He's got straight through on Miller, who's actually made a mistake, I think, in towards turn number 1, which is why the 22 is up another place. But it seems that Honeycutt's got decent speed. He's actually back to 2 places gained where he qualified, despite that spin, which would have really lost them a lot of time given the high-speed nature of that section of the circuit. Getting back up to speed again surely would have cost him quite a lot.
Well, we can see what happened with Honeycutt as he goes to a replay down to turn 1. Actually passed Jacob Miller for position. Jacob's had an issue. Car 21 has a spin. That explains why he dropped 2 positions. And also, almost collected Colfers as collateral there. Going into turn 1. Very lucky to miss each other, but we dropped a couple of positions, and now we have the answers to why that happened.
Well, I would narrow that down to say Miller was very lucky not to have T-boned Colfers there, because that would have been his fault if it
big time.
Indeed had happened, but he was very lucky to get away with one there. Chris Honer's got into the race, by the way. Unfortunately, he's over 5 laps down because clearly he's had some disconnection, some sort of problem as they were getting ready to race here. He's ended up 5 laps down, sadly, but he is still riding around. Trevor Thomas has retired here, so there is plenty of time left for him to gain positions as well as we go up to Ryan Simmons. The fight for 4th position with Nathan Merrifield and Tyler Miller at 1, 2 and 3. Look at the gap behind Miller, though. It's a very, very large gap indeed, so these 3 can fight with freedom for 4th position. Merrifield, though, feeling the pressure from Tyler Miller here in the light blue in the background. He's going to maybe have a peek towards the penultimate corner here. No, it's not a very long braking zone in towards turn 6, and so he didn't fancy taking that risk, taking that dive that time round.
No, not at all. So, bit of a race of attrition. I say race of attrition. It's actually quite a short race with these short laps around the shortest version of this Watkins Glen. So very limited opportunities to make moves. He's got another 18 laps to try and make moves. That's not going to help his score as he slides to 25. And that's going to give the 18 a reason to get a little bit excited about trying to make a move. Can't do it through the exit of turn 1. They go up the hill. Next opportunity, possibly the bus stop. Very awkward overtaking move, they can make it. We'll see what Miller can do here if he sticks in the slipstream.
I don't think he's going to be close enough by the inner loop, to be honest. It would be brave. It's narrow coming into that section of the racetrack, and so very difficult to actually go on and make your move, and then you're pushing too hard in the dirty air through the inner loop, and he just slides wide over the grass there, does Miller, and all that hard work is going to have to effectively be redone here to try and catch back up again. It's Truck Series racing, and a road course like this, it's so much about rhythm. You see that up and down the field, and once you lose it, you've got to work hard to regain it, but in that time, you'd imagine Merrifield will have build a bit of an advantage, and to be fair, he's nearly got 2 seconds already.
Yep, so that's going to hurt him big time, just that one little slide for Miller, but he'll have to just get back up into the back of that 25, and hopefully we'll be able to challenge for position once more. Leader's still leading, the gap is slowly extending to Lashbrook. Suggs third, Simmons fourth, Merrifield fifth. It's a current top 5, and I fear everyone has pretty much just found themselves in their own little bit of space, and we'll see how long these guys can last. I don't think we're expecting a pit stop this race. However, we've been told that there is no caution periods, as Ewan very correctly mentioned at the start of the stream. So it'll be down to these drivers just to keep the cars pointing in the right direction, and we'll bring you all the action as and when if it unfolds.
The stuff happening up and down. I think Daniel Wing has just gone off. He's lost a place or two at least, and Trey Graber has been off the circuit at some stage as well here. Both of them having flashes on the timing screen in the last couple of moments. They will not be the only ones who are laps down at the moment. Trey Graber, Michael Danamo and Chris Hone are the 3 drivers who are currently laps down as things stand. Brendan Craycraft is going to put a whole load more drivers down off the lead lap as well. Daniel Wing will be next on the list with that. Tyler Miller comes into the pit lane meantime, which is interesting after only 9 laps rather now completed for Miller. Why has he decided to come into pit lane? Surely it's too short of a race to be thinking about a strategy of tyre changes, I would have thought.
Well, the thoughts though, we'll have that answer for you in due course. We will just have an eye on there's a battle closing up potentially for 7th and 8th, and this gap's getting a little more closer. Honeycutt and Corfers Jr. both trading times a little bit, the gap closing ever so slightly. I was hoping the gap would be a lot more closer than it was, unfortunately not. But we can potentially have a look at how long that pit stop was for who was that for Miller. If we see he's currently down in P11, and so on the right hand side of your screens, our timing guru has basically said that it was a full stop for 4 tyres. He was in the pit box long enough to be fully serviced, and is now back out with pressed tyres. Everyone else, bar the people down further down the order who are unfortunately lap down, have stopped for repairs, but yeah, no answer there. Even 4 tyres and a full service for Tyler Miller.
Yeah, 15 seconds in the box, so that's why it says 4 tyres, which yeah, presume he has taken, but doesn't answer, and indeed it's not possible to program a thing that would say why. That's that's not knowable to humans either. Miller goes through on Caleb Ross, who also comes in this lap. Tyler Miller, that is. Jacob Miller is now in pit lane as well, though, so that's 2 places gained in 1. I do wonder whether they are thinking about this at the moment. And to be fair, if you are going to make a pit stop, we know that fuel is 23 to 25 laps tonight, so I reckon we could see drivers trying to make it on a no stop. Personally, that's what I'd be aiming for anyway. But if you are going to stop, then you want to sort of split it halfway, and some drivers might be accepting already that we're going to need to stop for a splash of fuel. Well, let's change 4 tyres while we're at it, and let's make it somewhere in the middle part of the race so we can try and reap the maximum benefits from that as well.
Indeed. The only downside is people are going to not stop if they're going to try and extend those tyres and make them last the full race. The people that have stopped are already going to be a lap down. This is 3rd position of Johnny Suggs, already lapping those who are in the pit. So it's going to be a big ask to try and back up the field if, and I think they're relying on everyone else pitting, essentially, is the game plan.
Well, yeah, I think that's a risky strategy tonight, I must submit. We don't see too many stops in this series anyway, but especially tonight with a 23 to 25 lap fuel tank, I would not be confident that everybody is coming in at all. Corey Coulter's latest to come in though this lap, this time round. Jacob Miller and Caleb Ross having very long stops that time round, which almost look like penalties to me, given the pit stop times. And it's a difficult pit entry to get onto. You see it hard to the right hand side here, coming out of the final corner. And trying to get these big heavy trucks stopped in time for that, coming from relatively high speed, but also just trying to get it into the box without hitting the pit wall and the central reservation there. Relatively difficult, and I think 2 maybe have fallen foul of it on the same lap.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wonderful to see these cars racing on a circuit, and to put them out of their natural element of typical over racing. It's actually quite a spectacle to see these cars race on a normal, I say road circuits, but yeah, it does seem odd if you can make the tyres last, if the fuel can definitely last. It's I think it's definitely a gamble. And I think as 15 has a wobble and goes across the bus stop, maybe the first sign of, are my tyres dying a death? Do I need to stop? Do I have to stop? Questions we can ponder, questions we can ask, but unfortunately time will tell to see what happens. But a definite sign there of maybe struggling with getting the truck stopped for one reason or another.
Well, they're always going to struggle. The weighing up is going to happen where you think, well, is this costing me more than a pit stop would? And Johnny Suggs has decided that yes, it is. Yeah. So here he comes now into the pit lane. Rather tentative, but you'd rather that than a speeding penalty. So I absolutely understand that as he pulls into the pit lane with 12 laps to go. This is almost exactly as halfway as you can get it in this race. But again, I'm not sure about this weighing up, because look at the nearest driver to the leader who has pitted already. Tyler Miller is 50 seconds at the moment off of Brian Crowcraft. Now, I know he wasn't nose to tail with the leader before, but he also was nowhere near a minute off the lead. And I think they're net losing here by not persevering with these tyres, not being careful enough with them, and I think they're losing positions as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you've got to try something different to the others around you. I get that, but it's a risk. It's an absolute risk, and Tyler has, to be fair, pitting a little bit earlier than Suggs is going to get the position back over him, but he's still got another handful of cars ahead of him. It's just questions as to if he can get the times made up in these last 12 laps. I would love to see him to try to do so, but yeah, I think a lot of things can happen before that. I would say that real race leader in the pits.
Yeah, Craycraft responds. So that's probably the smart thing to do. Don't wait around for the race to come to you when you're the race leader. Go and take it to everybody else here. Unless Lashbrook doesn't stop, which then he'll be a bit worried. But he's not going to let himself get undercut here, is Craycraft. He's going to make sure that Suggs is going to be kept in check. To be fair, Suggs had a very long stop, so he's not the one really to worry about. Tyler Miller would be the one to worry about, maybe, but I suppose he wouldn't have known that Suggs had a penalty. Oh, he's not quite got in his box there, Craycraft. Oh. He had to inch forward again there after initially coming to a stop. He now comes up on the left-hand side. Does he take all 4? Well, we'll find out. But there is the 18 of Tyler Miller, who's been out there already for, this is the end of 5 laps. Craycraft gets to the end of pit lane now, he's already on his way. I think Miller is closer. He's definitely got an undercut, but an undercut only works as long as everybody else pits. And again, that's not a given tonight. No,
absolutely. I think he's made a massively good effort in trying to get back up to the pack, and has somewhat worked for him, I guess, but he's still got another 3 cars ahead of him that need to either pit or try and eke out their tyres for the rest of the race. So maybe the fresher rubber on Tyler will be able to catch up with those guys if they do decide not to pit. But as I said, it's a risk, and we just need to see. And if I had a crystal ball in front of me to tell you the future and give you the answer, I would certainly do so. But time will just have to tell.
Well, it will, and it will tell in the not too distant future. Indeed, we're in the final 10 laps already. Lashbrook, Merrifield, and Daniel Wing, the only ones not to have stopped so far tonight. I think Lashbrook, though, has got a great chance at winning this race if he doesn't pit. He's got more than 30 seconds in front of Braden Craycraft, who, yes, he's going to be much quicker than him, but Lashbrook did a 13.7 that time round, which suggests, I think, that these are not tyre games that are going on. These are fuel games that are going on primarily, because there's nothing wrong with Lashbrook's tyres at the moment on that last lap.
No, there isn't. So, times actually, yeah, last lap, 1:13.8 compared to Tyler Miller's 1:14.34. I say that, Tyler Miller just came across the line, 1:13.3. Let's see what Lashbrook can do on this lap as he comes to a line. But the times aren't that different. You know, the gap between the best and the last lap times needs to be a lot more bigger for Tyler to try and catch up. He gained about 0.3 of a second last time round, but he needs more. He needs so much more than that to even think about trying to get back up to the lead.
He lost 0.3 of a second that time round. So the other way round,
yes,
Miller.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, Miller was slower, so that's even worse. It's not really going to be much of a fuel difference either, because they would have really only put a drop in, to be honest. So that can't explain it either. It's just not a good lap. Johnny Suggs gets past Corey Culford, who actually drops behind Hundencut as well. And Ryan Simmons has gone off as well here. Oh dear. All sorts of off-road moments there for Ryan Simmons. He probably spun getting on the power out of turn 5 there, the outer loop as it's sometimes known. Getting on the power very early through there, which you have to. He's really out of shape now though, isn't he? Goodness me. Someone's gravel that they brought onto the tarmac runoff there. Now scraped onto the circuit, and he's going to continue on, but he's clearly suffering with those tyres. In comes Daniel Wing now as well.
We'll just quickly jump to a replay, see how that 32 car got into strife, and it was just...
it's nearly a good save.
Nearly good save. Absolutely. Caught it first time, and then it just chucked him round once more, and then he had to do a bit of an awkward 3-point turn. In the face of a truck, nothing more he could really do there. He's slightly a little bit blind, but then puts the power down and then just scrapes the ball for good measure. Well,
lucky as well, because that was two coming through, Suggs and Honeycutt there, absolutely nose to tail there, which would not have been nice to crash in front of. So that we very much got away with one there. Again, this gap is just not closing, although it's a personal best from Craycraft last time around. It's 0.7 of a second. With 8 laps to go, you can do the maths already. He needs 5 seconds a lap. Again, unless Lashbrook pits. And to be fair, even if Lashbrook does pit, he might well save a good 10 seconds in the pit lane if he just comes in and takes a splash of fuel compared to the 4 tyres that pretty much everybody else has been taking.
Yeah, absolutely. Worked out for him, as Lashbrook says he's going to stay out and try and make the full race last. And yeah, I think whilst others has tried to pit around him, it's not quite worked. But as I said, leaders managing to hold that pace, and everyone else obviously wanted to try something different to try and get back onto the leader. And yeah, it just hasn't worked. But it's all Lashbrook's to lose with 7 laps to go.
Absolutely. As long as he can keep this strategy on the straight and narrow as he has done so far, he's not going to lose enough time to lose this race himself, if you like. Craycraft is coming up towards the end of another lap here and might actually be in search of fastest lap. Not that that really matters for points or anything, but it would be nice to have a nice show of the fact he is closing here. And no, it's not a fastest lap, but it is a 9/10 gain. But again, he needs 5 seconds a lap, and that equation obviously goes up each time he doesn't get 5 seconds a lap. So at this time round, that would extend to just over 5 seconds a lap, or exactly 5 seconds a lap. And you know, you're just not getting that. You know, a 5 second a lap gain effectively puts the target for Lashbrook at sort of 118s, which last time round every single driver in the top 10 managed, apart from Daniel Wing, who was on an outlap.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame, but as I said, we were hoping for a bit more battle. Actually, Leaders in the pits.
Now then, yes. So, he can't go all the way. But what does he do in the pit stop? If I'm Lashbrook here, I'm not taking tyres, because that would give you the lead, definitely. I'm pretty sure anyway. It wouldn't give you a big lead, but it would definitely give you the lead, I think. And when you've got track position, you've got a chance. 25 car has been going pretty slowly as well. Nathan Merrifield, I wonder whether he really is saving to not stop here, and that would be fascinating. But he's in the high 15s at the moment, and he's got a much smaller advantage over Craycraft. Into the pit lane for Lashbrook, though. He's not doing the short splash and dash that I was recommending. He's doing a full 4-tyre change, and that is putting Craycraft straight back in front of him. And effectively, he's handed Craycraft an undercut on his plate there.
Yep, absolutely. So Craycraft back out ahead. So if Lashbrook wants to win this race, he's got 2 cars to overtake now, essentially, and plus, maybe like 3 cars actually. So I think there's a lap car in the mix as well.
That shouldn't be too difficult. That won't be foremost in his mind, but it will be need to be negotiated before the end. Daniel Wing is the last driver on the lead lap as things stand, but may well go a lap down before the finish of this race in 6 laps' time. Is there enough time for... Well, there is enough time for Craycraft to catch Merrifield, but are we going to see a mighty defending job to try and hold on for the race win here? Are we going to see Merrifield try and do this race without stopping at all? It seems like the general consensus has been that that's not really possible or not advisable, because Merrifield is the only one continuing to attempt it here. As they complete 20 laps, he's still going.
It's a race of attrition. Get that truck to sip as little fuel as possible, and hopefully get it back to the checkered flag with 5 laps to go. And yeah, they're going slow. Just Craycraft and Merrifield. They're just so tentative in everything they do on the circuit.
Oh yeah, it's the way you've got to drive these trucks, unfortunately. It's not particularly exciting. Well, I guess there's an excitement to it, I suppose. There's certainly a challenge to it, that's for sure. But especially through the first sector, you do find yourself being very, very careful, but that doesn't erode away in the second or third sectors either, as they come through the interloper here, the 2 of them. It's mainly on the power where you really think about the mortality of these vehicles, I would say.
Yeah.
Trying to just squeeze on without hitting the barrier, especially as the tyres are wearing ever further. Craycraft, though, is going to catch Merrifield here, and he's got to be efficient as well. If this battle spirals out of control, then Lashbrook could be invited to the party, so he's got to dispose of Merrifield pretty efficiently here in the final 5 laps.
I'm going to stick with this as that's Merrifield going to pits.
So it wasn't a fuel-saving job. It was indeed a pace thing between the 2 of them. And Craycraft comes to take the lead of this race with 4 laps to go. Lashbrook in 2nd place, and in 3rd place Tyler Miller. So pretty much as they were before. A little bit of puzzling pit strategy, and Lashbrook gained 1.5 seconds last time round, but he needs to do that again in the next 4 laps if he's to stand any chance at all.
Lashbrook just got the fastest lap of the race last time around as well. That's an impressive lap. 1:13 dead. He needs a little bit more to catch up though. So gap is 5 seconds. It'll be close. Let's see, we'll keep an eye on it. Just a quick update on some other little things that have been happening on the circuit. Unfortunately, we have lost Corey Corfers. Unfortunately, Car 82 has had an incident and has returned to the pits. Unfortunately, I don't think has rejoined. And that looked a bit of a terminal incident, unfortunately for him. He is out of this race, classified down in 14th, but has yet to return to the circuit.
Well, it isn't going to. Yeah, Corpus is out of the session, so that's 3 retirements now. Presuming Jecker Miller's going to be one as well, because he's been in the pit lane for over 11 minutes, and there's not even enough laps left in this race for him to gain a position over Corfers now, even if he exited the pit lane right now. So that will be that. 3/10 of a second for Lashbrook this time. So with 3 laps to go, his assignment gets even more difficult. The time at which he needs to gain a lap now almost approaches 2 seconds, and maybe the slow lap a couple of times round to go for Craycraft was down to all this. Look at the lap traffic that this time Lashbrook has to go round the outside of. They are being fairly cooperative, Daniel Wing being one of them, as you can tell. And that, nevertheless... Oh dear, he's hit the wall there. Wing has locked the rears and he's hit the wall going into the bus stop chicane.
Keeps it pointing in just about the right direction, but that truck now definitely maybe not looking too second-hand, but maybe feeling second-hand in the cockpit. He's trying to get away with another car. It's the car 18, which is just third position, Tyler Miller. So he doesn't want to upset the final podium position as it stands, and indeed is able to move out of the way. Let's just try and see if we can get a quick replay of actually what happened now. So just locked the brakes, a bit dirty air maybe, but following the lead into the bus stop. Yep, rear goes and has a one-way ticket to go and meet Barrier. And that is about his race pretty much done and dusted. I think he's going to be limping around just to see the checker flag, and unfortunately not being able to do much more than that.
Yeah, we'll try and limp around though, Pat, because there are quite a few drivers not that far behind. Nathan Merrifield is now towed indeed. So late drama here for Merrifield, and that is that smoke anything to do with it, I wonder? Smoke just hazing over the forest there, or at least the collection of trees on the outside of the back straight. No, it's not indeed related to Merrifield, I don't think. Oh, he's locking up in towards turn one. It is not the same part of the racetrack. Oh, he gets on the power too early, and that's a hard hit on the wall. And that's exactly why everyone's had to be so careful so far in this race, because it is very easy to do that.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely unfortunate with 2 laps to go. So close to the end. Unfortunately, the end came sooner than he would have liked. Back to the pits, and that's going to be his race done and dusted. The tow time alone will see him not being able to go back out, and the repairs I don't think are going to be able to be done either.
Final lap of this race, the white flag is waving in the whatchamacallit 62 at the Glen. Round 5 of the I2I Motorsports Truck Series here from Watkins Glen this season. We're live at Charlotte next week, by the way, live every week until February 7th, which is our finale at Homestead Miami Speedway. In between those 2 intermediate circuits, we've got Pocono, longest remaining circuit, and Martinsville, the shortest, and indeed the shortest overall, as well as the shortest remaining. That is Lashbrook trying to put another lap on one of the lap-down trucks, but it's at the front, Braden Craycraft, who's putting a morale-destroying win in for everybody else, at least. He comes in tonight leading the championship by 15 points, but with Johnny Suggs down in 7th place, that gap's going to grow to well over 20 now. Michael Dadamo, Jonathan Herbert and Tyler Miller, the others in the top 5, are nowhere near close enough to really limit the damage any further than that. Braden Craycraft is going to have his 3rd win of the season. Generally, when he has a good race, he wins it. It's his 4th top 5 out of 5 races, but his 3rd victory. Braden Craycraft wins the road course round of the I2I Motorsports Truck Series this season at Watkins Glen.
Oh, and now they can breathe. That was a definite great win from Craycraft. Lashbrook, I think, although the pit stop did inevitably able to help him close the gap ever so slightly, I think those who did try to do a pit stop today were not the right options for this race. Craycraft making it last and doing ever so well in being able to retain that race lead from P2 on the grid. Just waiting for some final cars to come to the end of the circuit. William Honeycutt being one of them. Everyone down from Suggs, I do believe, has seen a checkered flag. Unfortunately, those DNFs that we have discussed won't be seeing the checkered flag and will be ending the race a bit more further down the order. But one of the last cars to come to the grid will be Honeycutt, and that rounds out our only road course. Ovals from here on out, all the way until February the 2nd.
Yeah. 4 pretty different ovals. Charlotte and Homestead are 2 sort of similar 1.5 miles in a sense, but they're opposite ends of that scale on the run to the end. So it's just ovals from here on in, and some will be pleased about that. Only 6 finished on the lead lap for that race, so a very attritional one, but you expect it to be at Watkins Glen, that is for sure. We'll have a look at the race results in a moment, but there'll be no surprises. Braden Craycraft at the front, on top by 5 seconds here. Interesting strategies going on with himself and Brian Lashbrook, who finishes in that second place. Tyler Miller was the third driver to the 3, was less than 15 seconds behind Craycraft. Ryan Simmons and Christopher Hurt, who we didn't really see any of that race, but got a nice quiet top 5, the way you want to do it. William Honeycutt rounds out those on the lead lap. 1 lap down for Johnny Suggs, who loses a lot of ground in the championship. Daniel Wing, Kelly Bross and Trey Graber, who gets the last place in the top 10. Nathan Merrifield finishes 2 laps down with Michael Danamo in 12th place. 3rd place in the championship coming into tonight. Danamo, that is his first non-top 10 finish this season. Chris Hone finishes in 13th after disconnecting just before the start. That wasn't ideal for him at all. Corey Culfer's 8 down. Jacob Miller at 13 down. Trevor Thomas barely only got through 4 laps of that race. Let's have a chat to Braden Craycraft, shall we? The race winner tonight from Watkins Glen in the trucks. And Braden, congratulations on a race victory tonight. Tell us first of all how it was to navigate this truck around here, because it looked like you all had to concentrate very hard for those 25 laps.
Yeah, it's definitely not the easiest thing to do. I got loose at one point, so I pit. I watched Brian get loose behind me coming out of turn 1. It's like, oh, I'm just going to extend my gap right here, get a safe little pit window. And then I go into the carousel and lose the car on myself. Luckily, I saved it and didn't get any damage, but it just shows these cars are a handful around this track.
They certainly are, and I think the major part of doubt for our mind that came into this race was throughout those pit stop phases. Were you ever concerned that one of the drivers was going to try and stretch this race the whole way through without stopping, or was that always out of the question in your mind?
I don't think anybody could have. At one point I thought Brian was going to try, because I just kept thinking, oh, he's surely got to go in soon, because I think we were 3 laps short, and that goes even lower when you start pushing around the track. But I thought once I pit, and I think he had a big gap to Nathan, I thought he was going to try to save a little bit and try to push to the end, but luckily it worked out in my favor.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your 3rd win of the season here today, and winning the only road course this season. And thanks for coming to chat to us at the end of the race as well.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thanks very much. That's Braden Craycraft, who wins tonight from Watkins Glen. And we'll just hang around for a sec to see whether any of the other podium drivers join us. But, Aidan, that is our road course race done for the Truck Series Championship this season. 4 weeks of oval racing to come to decide a champion, but I think Braden Craycraft has taken a massive step forward tonight.
Has indeed, and obviously this normal road circuit throwing a bit of a curveball for all the drivers involved, but Braden really taking the opportunity there to take a chunk out into the championship and put himself back as one of the main contenders. Going back to ovals, I think potentially we'll hopefully see these guys a bit more familiar territory, and we'll hopefully see these trucks racing a lot more closer. But we certainly weren't short of action this evening.
Certainly not. We'll get the league owner's Trey Graber's thoughts on it just before we go. So, we'll get Brian Lashbrook as well. They're all popping in just before the end. It's my threat of leaving before we chat to them that kick them up the arse. Here comes Brian Lashbrook. Sorry, Brian, I've interrupted your conversation. Welcome in. Good to have you with us. How was that out there tonight? You qualified on the pole, and in the end, were 5 seconds down on Braden by the finish. Are you pleased with the second place, though?
Absolutely. I thought it was a great race. I knew Braden was going to make it hard for me. He was fast in practice, so I was going to let him roll his race, and I thought it was good, him going in the pits right before me, but at some point he made up some time, because I would have thought when I pitted we'd have been right there, but man, he was out there too far. Traffic got him away, and it was still an awesome race.
We've only seen you for the last few weeks here, Brian. So what are the kind of circuits you're looking forward to at these next 4, which are all sort of ovals, but different kinds of ovals? Charlotte, Pocono, Martinsville, Homestead. Is there any of those that you'd particularly say that you're going to be challenging up towards the front in the remainder of this season?
Well, I can tell you one that I won't be, and that's Martinsville. I'd like to do a detour right around that track, but I'll put in the time and I'll get ready. I'm not going to say that any of them I'll be necessarily at the top. I mean, each track has their difficulties, but I'm going to put in the time and I'll put in the best race I can. That's for sure. But yeah, we can do detour around Martinsville, do some kind of change up there for sure.
It was discussed earlier in the season, actually, I think, but I don't think you'll be in luck, sadly, on that one. But
No, probably not.
Look forward to seeing you at those, of course, for the final 4 races. Congrats on a second place run tonight, and thanks for popping in to chat with us at the end as well.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks very much. That's Brian Lashbrook, second tonight from Watkins Glen, ahead of Tyler Miller, who finishes in third place tonight as well. Tyler, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Third place for you tonight. Didn't see too much of you, I've got to say, but did gain 1 place on where you qualified in fourth. How was that race for you?
It was good. I had some trouble in the beginning. I hit the wall and lost a lot of time. And so because of that, I was like, man, I'm just going to try to undercut a little bit, pit early, hopefully get some open track and make that time up. And I think I did, judging by the finish. But overall, happy with it, honestly. Not a fan of the track. I won't miss it for sure. It's a tough track for sure with the trucks anyways, but it was fun.
Yeah, we definitely saw the difficulty of that tonight. There's no doubt about that, and you weren't the only one experiencing that. Talk a little bit about the rest of this season, because last week you were the biggest gainer in the championship, up from 12th in points to 5th place in points. So you'll only have moved up further with this result. You might even be third now, but still haven't got a win to your name, despite 4 top 5s out of 4 races that you've competed in. Just how difficult is it going to be to get this race win in this field, and do you think it's going to happen in the next 4 weeks before the season finished?
I sure hope so. I've been messing around in the front a lot, but I just can't seem to get first. I was hoping the circuits would allow me to maybe finally do it, but not here today, that's for sure. But yeah, for season 1, I never got to the front, but season 2's been a lot better to me. So hopefully this season I can finally get one.
Yeah, let's hope so in the next 4 weeks. Congrats on a third place run tonight, Tyler, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome.
Thanks so much. That's Tyler Miller, third place tonight at Watkins Glen. And just before we go, we'll bring in Troy Grover, who I think wants a chat before we head off, although he's muted at the moment. Troy, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Are you there at the moment? Can you hear us? I don't think Trey is there. Well, if he is, then his mic's muted. So there you go. But he's not unmuting at the moment either. So I'm not sure he's there. He might be AFK as things stand. So I'm not sure we're going to be able to. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Trey,
yeah,
are you there? Oh, hello. Sorry. We thought you were gone. Let's talk a little bit about the race tonight, first of all. Top 10 run for you in the end, but everyone's been telling us, even the guys who finished in the top 3, just how difficult it is to keep these trucks on the road through here. Was that the case for yourself as well?
Yeah, Watkins Glen is not an easy track as it looks. You look at it on paper and you're like, yeah, that's okay. It's a good track. But just the way the truck moves around the corners, for me, it was coming out of 8 to the start finish line. I spun there when I was probably in 8th or 9th position early in the race, and just ended up in pit road and figured, we're gonna have to pit for fuel. Might as well pit and take fuel now. I can get to the end of the race. It's just too little, too late to try to catch up at that point. So didn't have the speed this weekend, but proud of the guys who came in all week and practiced, and super appreciative of Premier Racing Setups for coming on board with us and providing us with setups these last few races and going forward. And yeah, it's one of those unusual things for guys to normally run ovals to actually have to turn right in a truck. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I think the guys enjoyed it. I haven't heard much from them lately as far as not enjoying it. So we'll see how Charlotte goes next week. I know Braden's already gloating in the Discord that he's ready for Charlotte next week. So somebody's going to have to dethrone him next week. I'm hoping it's a guy like Johnny Suggs or Brian Lashbrook. They've been working hard all season. Tyler Miller's been working hard all season. Proud of him to get that top 3 finish tonight. But yeah, just proud of the guys, proud of our sponsors, proud of Premier Racing Setups for coming on board and giving us a heck of a setup tonight to be able to run and at least try to keep these trucks on the ground as close as we could. So yeah, just proud of you guys too as well for coming on board and broadcasting with us. I know we got a good group of guys here and a good broadcasting group as well, and that kind of makes for a pretty good season. So I'm thankful for that for you guys as well.
No, thanks very much. Just to briefly touch on the end of this season as well. There's only 4 weeks to go. An interesting schedule. I want to get your thoughts on, obviously, if you made it with the 4 weeks to go. Charlotte, Pocono, Martinsville, Homestead to end off. I'm always a fan of the Homestead finale. It's like in a sort of a road course series. You want to see Interlagos as the last race or whatever. You want to see Homestead as the last race of an oval series as well, like this one. Brian Lashbrook's already been banging on about getting rid of Martinsville. I'm sure he's not the only one. But just talk to us about the final 4 races and a very mixed end to the schedule that we've got.
Yeah, I don't think you could get a much different final 4 or even 5 races that we've had. You go from a road course to Charlotte that's wide open. It's wide. It's going to be a long race, one of our longest races of the season. Kind of like what we do with every Charlotte race we have. It's our longest race of the season. Then we go to the Tricky Triangle for Pocono. And just when you think you've got this league figured out, we switch it up and go to Martinsville. And then, Homestead's its own beast. We saw that last year in the Xfinity Championship. Jesse James taught us last season that the high line is not the fast line at Homestead. So it'll be interesting to see if these trucks can maneuver around Homestead the way the Xfinity cars did. But yeah, totally a ton of different racetracks, ton of different styles of racetracks these last 4 weeks. So it's going to be a fight to the finish. I know a lot of people are probably like Brian and they want to get rid of Martinsville. But we're gonna see how it goes. I2I has not done any short tracks except I think IRP early in season 1 of the trucks. So we're going to try another short track and see if we can put them on next year's schedule and just kind of get the ideas from the guys from moving forward and kind of see how these goes. But I'm excited. I'm excited for these last few weeks. I'm excited for what we got coming up for the Xfinity series that we'll drop after after I talk to you guys after Martinsville, because we got a pretty good schedule coming up for that series as well. But I won't say too much about that. So,
all right, we'll look forward to that. January 31st, by the way, is the Martinsville race for tuning in for that. So there you go. That's our penultimate round here, by the way, in the trucks. So yeah, thanks for coming to chat to us again, Trey. Good to hear from you. Good to see you out there again tonight. And of course, we'll see you again next week.
See you guys.
Thanks very much. Trey Grover in 10th place tonight on the racetrack. Of course, league admin and owner here at I2I Motorsports as well, running things behind the scenes. That's just about it from us, though, here tonight. And as Trey was just saying there, Aidan, it's a final 5 races of this schedule that you couldn't really get much different. To be honest, the whole schedule is, if you even had the first 4 races before we had, or first 3 races before we had Christmas. So even had a super speedway to bring us to Christmas at Daytona, if you remember, just nearly a month ago now.
Indeed,
very, very varied schedule for the truck series, and a bit of a voyage of discovery to come in a couple of those as well. But it's been a great schedule. The next part of that, Charlotte, a simple 1.5 miles is to come back to normality a little bit after tonight's road course at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to, as you said, some form of normality, but a very varied normality, as we just discussed with Trey. But yes, been a very interesting evening with this normal road circuit for these trucks that maybe somewhat out the elements, as we've heard. Swerving and kind of rolling around the circuit, and I think they'll be back on their own with some banked curving and maybe just one less direction to turn coming up in the next 4 weeks. But very much looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it indeed.
Yep, we'll be live same time, same place here on the Motormouth Broadcasting YouTube channel with that next race of the championship coming to you live from Charlotte on January 17th. So make sure you join us for that. For now, though, I've been Ian Louie alongside Aidan Howard, and this has been the I2I Motorsports Truck Series here from Watkins Glen. Make sure you join us again in 7 days' time in Charlotte for the next round of this championship. But from all of us from Watkins Glen, it's goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now.